Okay, welcome to Comfort Habit number 2. This is my final video for tonight. I'm going to talk about 3 articles that I want to touch on. At least 2 will be done. That's 3 fingers, but I'm going to touch on at least 2. So the first article was critical race theory in Virginia and why it has received the attention of Virginia. Alright, so I'm not going to read the whole article, but nothing is ever ravaged the classrooms worse than COVID-19 and passionate discussion or discourse for American education right now, and nothing will do with the pandemic. All right, as it goes down, battle flares across Virginia, including Buford, some other stuff, and Roanoke, and then it talks about critical race theory. All right, now if you're not in Charlottesville, you don't know this, but they have removed 4 statues. They removed the 2 that caused the clusterfuck. They removed the Lewis and Clark statue with Sacagawea, and they removed the Lewis and Clark statue with the soldiers, warriors, whatever, drawn on Native Americans who looked unarmed. Alright, so you're probably asking, what does that have to do with anything in this? Well, this thing talks about critical race theory in my town of Virginia, and well, my state of Virginia, in my town of Charlottesville. And it goes on to talk about other things of critical race theory, which is why I brought up the statues, because all of that shit brought a bunch of white people here that was really mad and really hated people. Alright, so in this thing, if I can get to the comment section. Alright, I don't know how I get to the comment section. Okay, so I responded to this man's comment. Alright, and I cannot see where his comment is, but I'm going to read my comment. Alright, and this is important because I want white people to understand where I come from. Alright? So the first thing I said is, respectfully, my friend, only racists would believe that all white people are evil. Make sure you hear that, so if you're white, you don't read this the wrong way. Again, respectfully, because the guy said in his comment that white people were inherently evil, and he was a white man who said it. He said, so you're saying all of us white people are evil, and I had to come at him in a peaceful manner because not all white people are evil, which is why I said, respectfully, my friend, only a racist would believe that all white people are evil. I am a man of mixed ethnicity, that being Cherokee, black, and white, and though I'll never be white, I love and respect all races of people until they are racist. Unless they are racist, excuse me. My grandfather on my mother's side had a white parent. So no, not all white Americans or people in general are racist. Sorry to anyone that I may have offended. Alright, now the reason why I wrote that was because, he pretty much threw white people under the bus. And he was a white man. And that hurt my feelings. Because I don't think that anybody should be judged by the color of their skin. Straight up. Your skin color does not make you. It's who you are. It's legally what you are. So if you're white, you're Caucasian, whatever, you're legally white. Alright? Your birth certificate says white. My birth certificate says I'm a Negro. However, biologically, I am multicultural. I am of Cherokee, black, and white descent. You can see the 2 tones. And yes, this basically comes from me not wearing long sleeve shirts. I refuse to wear long sleeve shirts unless it's super cold outside. You won't catch me in one unless I gotta dress up for something and a long sleeve shirt is required. Those bow tie events? Yeah, shit that I'm not ever gonna be invited to ever again. But anyway, I have 2 tones. This is my true color, high yellow. Alright? And I say this because if you're not mixed, you will never feel racism the way a mixed person feels racism. I am torn between 3 worlds. Understand how that works, because I can see the good and bad from all sides. I can see the good points. I can see the bad points. I can see that everybody needs to be slapped in the face or kneed in the face because they're being racist points. And that would probably fix a lot of the problems. I know, you guys are thinking, well, damn, James, that went from 0 to 1,000 in 5 seconds because I went straight to violence. Violence does not really solve anything. I know that. But it does open up people's eyes. If you're beating somebody's ass because they're an asshole, their color shouldn't matter. If you're beating somebody's ass because you are a racist or they are a racist, that's where shit gets complicated. And it does, because people will fail to understand the complexity of how complicated it is when dealing with racist shit. And that's one of the things that you kind of got to be the judge for yourself, you know. And when you are being the judge for yourself, you have to understand what you are judging. All right. First off, and this goes to all races of people: Caucasoid, Negroid, Mongoloid. That's the scientific names for white people, Asian people, and black people. Caucasoid, white. Negroid, black. Mongoloid, Asian. So therefore, that being said, hopefully I didn't offend anybody. That being said, you have to understand what your fight is. Alright? And there is not a human being of any race above being racist and prejudiced. Alright? I have been the recipient of racism from all three of those. Now, when I say that, let me clarify, because Native Americans are biologically Asian. I've never had a problem with Asians from the Philippines, Hawaiian, China, Japan, Laos, Vietnam. I haven't had a problem with those Asians. I haven't had a problem with anybody from India. I have had a problem with my ancestors' people. No, I've had a problem with Native Americans. And the only problem was, it was like 2 Native Americans from the same tribe. I do not hold all the other tribes responsible for these 2 douchebags full of dick tips that are dumpster fires. I have forgiven that shit. But they looked me in the face and they wouldn't let me talk to a high chieftain's daughter, because in their words, I'm not pure blood. So yeah, that hurt my feelings a little bit. That they just like, fuck you, because you're part black, so you're not one of us. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but there's an easier way to go about putting me down without being racist about it. And I learned from that, but I have also met many a good Native Americans too. That doesn't care that I'm not pure blood. A lot of them on TikTok, but a lot not. But those were the only 2 Native Americans that I had a fucking issue with, and I was back in my 20s, so I'm like 20 years past that shit now. So it's over and it's done. Now, as far as any other Asian ethnicity, ain't never had a problem with them. Never had a problem with them. Most of my best friends were of the Asian persuasion back in high school and college. Mostly in college. But you move on, you get to know people, you get to learn their cultures, and you learn how to respect them. Respect is a thing that everybody should learn before you start pitching racist views and shit. And if you're pitching racist views, you may want to check your inner racist before someone checks your face. It's just putting that out there. And I think everybody who is not racist could take a knee to the face of everybody who is racist. There'll be a lot less racist people around, and most of them probably won't have any teeth. That being said, we're going to move on to the next topic. So the next topic, this is also going to be a sensitive one. 3 people upvoted me, so I'm going to talk about this, and then we're done for the night. So, I'm not a sports fan. Just getting that out the way. I know of Dwayne Wade, but I don't care for him either way. I don't hate him. I don't like him. He's just somebody who's a lot more famous than me. He dropped some truth bombs on the track star. I'm gonna misspell this shit or mispronounce this shit big time. Shara Kari Richardson marijuana thing. Alright, first, let me drop some stories before I go too deep into that. 1. 6 years ago, I had a hip replacement. I was on painkillers. I still needed those painkillers when my dad died. I quit taking the motherfuckers. I don't know what I did with them, but I don't have them. So, I'm going to say some things that are going to offend a lot of you weed smokers now that weed is legal in Virginia. If you don't like what I have to say, this is not the video for you. 2. I have watched drugs destroy people, which is why my ass will never do them. If I have to play a drug dealer on TV, here's the only thing I have to say to the directors of that. Look, make sure it's not real, because I might actually kill someone. And 2, I would prefer to do that shit off screen. Like if they come in and you see the joint in my hand and me putting it down, I'm okay with that. But I don't want to have that shit touching my lips. Period. That's like the one thing that is like non-negotiable. Because I have watched drugs destroy good people. I have watched two people OD on fucking heroin. I have saved them both. I do not like drugs. Even the painkillers that I had to take for my dad, I had just took one when I found out that my dad had passed. I couldn't drive anyway. I had to get my elder sister to take me to Richmond to go view him. No, so that was like a really hard thing for me. So now I'm going to read my reply because I have nothing against or for Dwayne Wade, who like really came down on this girl. I may have come down on her myself. We're going to find out when I read this damn report because it's written in stone right here. Alright, so here we go. Which is exactly what I said. Well, here we go. Let me chime in on this because 6 years ago my dad died, March 24th. I had never done drugs in my life. I cope with things by punching things, sometimes people. And that's how I deal with shit in real life. Okay, however, I am not judging her. Our choices have consequences, and taking drugs is a choice. We have to live with the consequences of that choice. Remember, the other track star, Marion something. I still don't know her name. I meant to Google it before I got into this. But her name was Marion something. They stripped her of her medals, and she was caught for performance enhancement drugs. And so was her husband, matter of fact, who was a weightlifter. You guys have to go back. I don't remember what Olympics it was, but I remember it because she was black. And you never forget something when a black person does something. I'm sorry to say that out loud, but it is the truth. So she was performing enhancement drugs, and she was also kicked out of the Olympics and stripped of her medals. Enough said, drugs is bad. That's what's written right here. I had people upgrade me 3. So I'm going to show you the logo. If I can find it on my phone. Ah, damn it. I just had it. Anyway, see down here, there's a little in there. So, this N is like the local news, whatever. And net news. It's somebody damn news. And so, that being said, you know, I don't judge people for the things that they do. I will say that you have to take accountability for the shit, though. Because, alright, when Marion, whatever her name was a track star. She was like one of the fastest female runners since FloJo. And they caught her for performance enhancement drugs. Not steroids, but performance enhancement drugs. I don't really know the difference because I don't do drugs. But they nailed that young lady to the wall. And now everybody's like, well, they have to be a little bit more understanding because this young lady's mother just passed. I understand that your mother just passed. Like I said, 5 minutes into this video of this section that my dad passed 6 years ago, I threw my painkillers away. Oh, I guess I should probably show. Yeah, for those who don't understand. Okay, can you? I don't like thongs. Can you see that? You know, that scar right there. You know, every now and again, I still feel a little pain on that scar. And yes, I have a wedgie right now. So, let me tell you. I've seen drugs destroy mountains of men. Men who were built like a brick shit house. We was their gateway. It's not the gateway drug, but it was that person's gateway. The young ladies that I saved from heroin shit. One is family. The other was a friend of that family member. No. I will never do drugs. I will never support drugs. Yeah, you got your 420? Good for you. I'm happy for you. If that's what you do, knock yourself out. But if you're not willing to deal with the consequences, then you shouldn't take the action. Now, I may piss people off with this video, and that's fine. I'm okay with pissing you off. You know why? Because that means you're fucking listening. Or reading. Or whatever. But you have to understand. You can get mad at me all you want. But I'm not here to impress you other than with Kung Fu. When it comes to shit like this, that's on you. If you decide, hey, I'm gonna buff up, I'm gonna get me some steroids, I'm gonna pump that muscle up, I'm gonna do what I need to do. I don't have a problem with that, as long as you are honest about it and take the consequences with your actions, because you can't get mad when you fail a piss test. Well, I took a piss test and it came back with all this stuff. Yeah, because you're doing all that stuff. And if that takes away your dreams, who the hell can you blame? You can't blame society. Society did not put a gun to your head and say, hey, snort this coke. Hey, smoke that bowl. Hey, blow that joint. Hey, drink all that fucking alcohol. No. No one holds a gun to your head with those choices unless you're a kidnap victim, which is far and few between. Now, sometimes that does happen. There is this thing called rohypnol where people do date rape chicks with that shit. But that's not the subject at hand. This young lady smoked weed or did some drug that she knew she shouldn't have been doing. Yeah, it's to cope. Let me tell you something. From people that I've talked to, you will never get as high as your first high, which is what leads to other people doing other types of drugs and shit. And as long as you're going to do that, you're not going to have this happy face. This is my buddy. Now, you also need to understand that you choose to do that. Like this choice I'm about to make right here with this Hostess cake. Now, digging this box right here, I'm going to whip this bitch out. And I'm going to scarf it down. That's a choice that I make. Now, the consequences of what's going to happen after I scarf down this chocolate cake. It's not even chocolate. It's a fucking yellow cake because it's the only kind I like to eat. So good. Anyway, the choices are going to happen now. But I'm going to go over the 130 pounds that I'm supposed to stay at. Because a little on the lips and a lot on the hips. So tomorrow, I'm going to have to work this shit off. I got to burn extra calories. I'm going to have to jog. I'm going to do shit that I'm not supposed to do. Because of the consequences that's going to come with this cake and eating after midnight. Don't worry, I'm not going to wake up like a gremlin. And I've already got out of the shower, so I'm not going to be wet. And I'm not going to burst into flames tomorrow when I see the sun. But, all things considering, I made this choice. So, in a week, when I'm still fat, and I have something I need to do before the doctor's checkup, and the doctor says, hey, you gained a little bit of weight and you're not supposed to. Or the dentist says, hey, did you brush your teeth after eating those cakes? And I say, no. Now I have cavities. It's my choice. It's also my fault. And I have to deal with the consequences. And wash it down with tea in my nice skull cup. And in case you want to know why I'm drinking from a straw, the dentist, for the last 3 years, insists that I drink from a straw from now on. So I can keep these as light as they are right now. Plus I have special toothpaste. That being said, we need to be responsible for our actions. Take responsibility, take accountability. Thank you for watching. It's Comfort Effort number 2. Be seeing.